Hey, what is going on, Empowering DIY fans? It's been a while since I've done a video, of course. Every time I do my intro, it's like, it's been forever. But here I am, working on my camper, getting ready to go on a quick camping trip in September. And noticed that the last camping trip we went on, the battery seemed to be dying. I was like, it's just old battery. But then I looked at it and it was from 2018. So, like, still could have been a bad battery. Pulled it out, it was kind of swelled. Yeah, that sucks. So I took the battery, deep cell battery, out of my boat and put it in here last night. And I come back today and put the meter on it, and it was 0.1 volts DC. Not 1.1 or anything, it's literally 0.1. I'm like, oh no, this thing it's got a bad draw on it. So I'm out here sweating, trying to troubleshoot it.
Stop complaining.
So I'll show you what I got going on. By the way, these smart chargers suck, because when you kill a battery, they're like, oh, there's no battery there, we won't charge. I like the old days. Old Craftsman battery charger. It doesn't matter what it is, it's going to put a charge on it. So I'm charging it off my truck right now, get the voltage up, and then I have this battery maintainer for now. I'm gonna leave this on there maybe to get us through this trip especially. But what I'm gonna do is troubleshoot the converter, because right now what I'm thinking is, when I put the battery on last night, it was a fresh battery off the boat that's been on a tender, and it was only 12.1 volts. We were running the lights, the awning, and all that stuff, just going through stuff, cleaning it, because the camper's been sitting for a long time. Going through cleaning everything, and it dropped down to 12 volts or 11.9 volts, and the awning was super slow coming in. I'm like, oh great. So it was on my brain last night, and when I got home from work today, I was like, let me check it, and sure enough. So what I'm thinking is the converter is not charging, so I'm going to show you kind of how I troubleshoot it. And the converter is working, plugged in. I can unplug the battery and still run all my lights and everything, but it's not charging the battery. So all right, so let's hold on a second. What I realized is my brain is not moving as fast as my mouth, storing my life. So what I realized was I was still talking, and I flipped the camera around, and it didn't catch what I was trying to say in between the transition. So what I'm trying to explain in this next clip is, because I didn't know what was wrong with the inverter at that second, I decided I was going to take an extra battery tender and mount it to the camper and have some way to keep the battery charged while we're on this next camping trip, because my immediate thought was the inverter was bad. And if the inverter was bad, then I had to worry about trying to order one or replace the whole board. I didn't know. So I was just trying to come up with a solution to fix the problem immediately and be able to move on. You'll find out later in this video that I don't need it. We're fine. But that was what I'm trying to explain. But I wanted to leave it in there because to kind of show you my thought process on troubleshooting, from step one, figuring out what the problem is, coming up with, using your imagination to come up with ideas on how to fix the problem, solving the problem, and moving on from the problem. So leaving this in here, but just thought I'd add that in there. So bear with me as this weird transition. You'll see what I'll explain, and then we'll move back inside of the camper and start troubleshooting that way. So hold on one second. What I'm gonna do is mount this charger here, plug it in at the campsite, keep it plugged in here. Once I get the battery high enough to charge off of there, we should be fine, but I want to know why the converter is not charging. So let's go inside and pull that thing apart and start troubleshooting it. So hold on one second. All right, so I'm inside the camper, standard 30 amp, 110 volt camper. By the way, they are no sponsor of mine. I actually got this for Christmas. This is a Night Buddy. This headband is absolutely amazing. You can have the wave or the different lights or whatever. DIYers, you gotta get this headband. It is a game changer. Anyways, I'll throw an Amazon link in the description below. But so standard converter, that's with that light on. It's a big difference, ain't it? From what I can tell, like I said, I have lights everywhere, and if I unplug the battery out there, the lights do work, so I know the converter's working. If you look right here, it says it's 120 volt, 30 amp, and then the converter input is 105 to 130 volts, 60 hertz at 12 amp. The converter output should be 13.6 volts, 55 amp rating. So what that means, rating includes charging and load. So what I got to do is pop this panel off. I've already checked all the fuses, they appear to be okay, but I need to start taking the panel off, and I need to check and make sure the fuses are good with my meter and so forth. So let me get this cover off and I'll be back. Alright, so I got the cover off. Now, first of all, disclaimer, this is live power. I don't care if it's only 110 volts, this panel will kill you. So it is best to unplug it. It's 90 degrees outside, I'm keeping AC running. So do as I say, not as I do. That's your main power coming in. It can't hurt you. Now here's what's weird. I've never pulled this cover off before. And of course, you know, it gets a little dirty under here. That happens, it's life. But look at that. Sorry, let me get the light in there. That is metal shavings. And all this come out of that panel. That is so weird. I've never seen that before. And it looks like it's like a drill something. I don't know. So if anybody's ever seen that, comment below. Made a mess. Don't tell my wife. I'll clean it up before she sees it. But that's concerning. Anyways, it's got a fan in here. This is your converter on the bottom. And so if you chase the power up, it runs up to the breaker. It's the second one down right here, the 20 amp. And then the power coming off your converter is the red one right there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna unhook the battery from outside, and I'm gonna check the voltage there. It should be 13.6 volts, just like the panel said. And then what that does is runs out to your battery. So kind of one-handed right now. May call the little empowering DIYer, see if you can come out here and hold the camera, and I'll get the meter on there, and see if I can show you what I'm doing. So just hold on one second. Alright, so try to show the camera the voltage meter as well. So the battery outside is unhooked. So the only thing that should be providing power right now is the converter to right there. We should have 13.6 volts to these lugs right here. And we have 13.6. So I know that the converter is working, obviously, because like I said, I have lights above me that are on the camper, and that means that this is converting power to the 12 volts, because all the lights and everything run off 12 volts. And like I said, I just confirmed it right here. Now why is my battery going dead if the converter is working? This right here is your output to the battery outside. It should be, again, feeding 13.6 volts outside. So we'll go to negative, which is your ground, obviously, to there, and I have 13.6, 13.7, which is very strange, because like I said, I've had it plugged in 110 volts all night. The battery shouldn't have died, it should have charged farther up. So what's causing the parasitic draw on the battery? So the next thing I'm going to do, I guess, is go outside and check the battery cable, that it's not plugged into the battery, and see if I have that 13.6 coming out of here. And then I'll have to, I guess, start tracing wires. Actually, I was wrong. This wire this wire to the middle lug is actually coming from the converter, and this is going to the battery. It makes sense. It's actually a bigger lug, and I do have 13.6 on here. So what's causing my problem right now? So I'm going to go outside and check and see if this cable has 13.6 on it, and if it doesn't, then I know that this cable has a short in it from here to there somewhere, and that would make sense. If it's grounded out, then it would be causing a draw on the battery, and that's what made that 2018 battery go bad already. So let's go outside. Good. All right, so quick tip, if you ever drain a battery, like especially a newer battery overnight, and you can't have the stupid smart batteries or smart chargers that I've already complained about, what I did was pulled my truck up, ran jumper cables over. If you put enough charge on there for it to detect the voltage, then it'll bring the battery charger on there. So I ran my truck on here for about 10 minutes. That's a brand new battery, so the voltage come up really fast. And you know, it was, once you get to, it's a deep cell battery, so it'll discharge really low and still show 12 volts. So you only need a few minutes to get that 12 volts up. Blabbering. All I'm saying is, if you discharge a battery, throw some jumper cables on there from a good battery, give it about 10 minutes, then throw the battery charger in and it'll charge it. So right now my little maintainer charger is doing the trick. So like I said, I'm gonna turn my light on. I'm gonna go around the other side. You can stay on that side. All right, can you see right here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I've disconnected the red battery cable from the circuit, so I should be getting 13.6 right here from the converter to charge the battery. So what I'm gonna do is, I know I have a good neutral here, and I literally have nothing. So now I know for a fact that between that converter out there and this battery terminal right here, I have a short. I know the converter's good, I know the battery's good, so now I just have to go through and trace this wire all the way back and find out where it's got a short in it. It sucks, the work sucks, but you've literally just troubleshooted your problem and you don't have to pay someone. So now I'll just follow this wire back and see if something got pinched somewhere. In our, you know, like I said, I started noticing this problem a couple trips ago, so if I would have paid attention to it, I would have found this out, you know, possibly not ruined the battery. So if you ever notice some dimming lights or weak appliances and stuff, check it right away and check your converter this way like we did. So now I know that this battery cable is bad. So I'm gonna turn the battery off, or excuse me, I'm hot and can't even think straight. I'm gonna turn the camera off, and I'm gonna start crawling underneath the camper and following this wire, see where it goes, and just tracing it. And when I find the bad spot, I'll turn the camera back on and show you what I found. So hang with me, and here in just a second, hopefully you'll have the answer. Well, I'm too fat to get on my back anymore. Goodness gracious. All right. I wish everything in life was complicated but easy like this, because I get to use my brain, I get to think through problems, and then I get to push a button to fix it. All right. I have never crawled under this camper. Well, I have. It's been a couple of years. But it's been a long time. So I'm like, all right, let's start from the battery and trace our way back. So I started at the battery, come out through here, went straight up to right there. I was like, okay, so I threw my meter right there. Guess what? No voltage. Then I started looking at some of this other stuff, and I started pulling this off, and I was like, wait, hold on a minute. Let me think about this. So I took my meter, ground right there to right there. I had no voltage. And I was like, okay, so I went over here to this lug, had no voltage. Sorry, the shadow's rough. Then I went to this lug, had 13.6. I was like, hey, this is a little circuit breaker. Look over here to the side, let me get up there. I don't know if you can see it. Right next to that screw is a button. That button was poked out. So somehow or another, my chickens are having a fit. Somehow or another, that shorted out. It could have got moisture. I could have hit the battery. I've checked all this right here. This is just like, it's not chewed up. The cable isn't chewed up. This is chewed up, so this wasn't, it's not frayed. It's not rubbing the frame. I have no idea. But I pushed that button and I got 13.6 on my battery. So, world's easiest DIY problem, but maybe this can save you some problems. So why did it blow? I don't know. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put the battery leg back on the battery. I drive a GMC. I love Chevy. I love Chevy products. They have been known, you know, when you're driving down the road, the plug right here. Sorry, bad camera view. This plug has a terminal that goes to the battery to charge the battery while you're going down the road. At high RPM, it has been known for the voltage to go a little too high on that plug. It's supposed to be like very low voltage, like 12.2, 12.4, something like that. I could be wrong there, but it might be the amperage. I think it might still put 13.6, but at a low amp, just to like maintain the battery. They have been known to cause problems before, so maybe that's it. I don't know. So what I'm gonna do, this is like a 10-minute video right now. This hopefully will save somebody some money, instead of having to pay someone to help troubleshoot it for you. Just follow your steps. You don't have power, why not figure out where you got to start, where you got to end, and work your way through the middle. So thankfully for me, it was an easy fix. I'll put this as a part 1 with a question mark, and if it pops again, then we get to troubleshoot why. So I'm gonna go ahead and load this up, and if you have any questions about it, hit me up in the comments. If you have any comments about what in the world I found in that breaker box, I'll take those too. So like these videos, keep subscribing. Y'all are awesome. I get 2-3 subscribers a day, and to me that's really cool. So thank you, and keep it up. Thank y'all.